Well, so we have discussed yesterday regarding few important concepts of how we can do a single invoice for multiple purchase orders. I have told you two processes. One is creating invoice, single invoice, and linking to POs. The another way was creating two different invoices with the same invoice number and consolidating both of them. So it's not just two, you can also consolidate multiple of them if you have to give the same invoice number, that's all. Okay. Other than that, we have discussed about how we can correct the product receipt, how we can cancel the product receipt, correct it, what happens when we correct it. Then we have discussed about how to cancel the purchase order in case if we are not going to receive anything on the PO. Or we also discussed about how we can close it for the receipt. So if settle vendor is not delivering us the mentioned goods on the PO, we have also seen that tick mark where we can close it for receipt. Okay, this kind of small logics in interview they will cross question you. So how do I close it for receipt, or how I can how I handle a situation where I could not receive any goods from the vendor? What should I do? How to then you can say you can cancel the PO. So where it will be, they will ask these kind of questions. We have to tell them. They might also ask these questions. Is it possible to create multiple invoices for single PO? Yes, it is possible. Is it possible to create a single invoice for multiple POs? Yes, it is also possible, but POs should be of a same vendor. That's one criteria. So they can cross question anytime, but if you keep these things in mind, literally you can create any number of product receipts and invoices for a POs. You can say that if you keep these concepts in mind and practice well, you can confidently answer such questions in interview. Okay. So clear, right? All these concepts. Does anybody have any other doubts in this? No one?
No.
Okay. So well, if that is good, then we are left with few more concepts in accounts payable. The one thing is that I left over is the charge codes concept, which we will discuss today. After that, we have this prepayment of concept, credit notes, and then the invoice validation, which are also important. I'll explain all of them. But today, let us discuss about this charge codes concept. Okay, this charge codes concept is there in accounts payable as well as accounts receivable. Okay, let me start this charge codes. So to start with charge codes, what are charges? Any idea what are charges? Anyone? What are charges and how are they related to trade, or for purchases, how they are related?
Like transportation charges,
It's a one
packing
kind.
charges.
Yes, it is the additional amount that we might have to pay to vendor or to anybody else on that particular trade. So it can be any kind of charge. You can say transit charges or transport charges. If vendor is delivering the goods through his vehicle, he will also charge the transport charges. Suppose that uh, if if you buy something from Flipkart, so it is for 100 rupees, they will charge some delivery charges of 20 rupees. So there's a delivery agent will come to you and hand over that particular good that you have purchased from Flipkart to you. Upon the invoice, when you see it, you can see 100 will be the original amount of the product. Then you can see the taxes amount that is included, and then you also see the charges, delivery charges amount. Other than delivery charges, if there are any packing charges, that will also be included. So everything they will give a correct breakup of how much they are charging on that particular order. Okay, in the same way, on this purchase order, we might have different types of charges like transport charges. Okay, then we might have packing charges. If the vendor is sending it to you, so he might charge something for that particular packing. So there can be any other like insurance charges. There can be many
Labor,
charges. Somebody saying
labor,
some. What is that, Bala?
Labor charges, anything?
Labor charges, yeah, that could be also there. If at all it's a heavy good, it's the same, right? Yeah, labor charges. I think it's because of capital letter. Yeah, labor charges. If it is a heavy material for labor to carry it from one place to another place, that also might be a charge. So there can be any types of charges. But according to me, I have divided these charges in dynamics into two ways. Okay, I'll tell you that simple way. So charges included charges included into inventory. Charges not included into inventory. Okay, a charge when incurred can be added directly to the inventory. When you are buying something, suppose if you are buying a good, so accounts payable account is credited for 1000 and inventory account is debited for 1000, right? So you can also incur charges, right? You might have to pay the charges again to the vendor only. So I'll just try to explain you the accounting entries here. Then we will go and configure the codes accordingly. First, you have to understand the concept. So try to brush up your accounting skills once again. So charges included into inventory, charges not included into inventory. Inventory. Within this, again, we have two kinds: paid to vendor, paid to third party. So I would say it in this way. Right? So here also I'll have the same paid to vendor and paid to third party. So let me push it downwards, all of that is right. So charges included into inventory, charges not included into inventory. Cha Within the charges that are included into inventory, we will pay that charge to the vendor only. Vendor will charge from us, or we might pay it to a third party. Okay, and the second category is charges not included into inventory, which we pay to the vendor only, not pay to a third party. Here there is also chance that we can pay to a third party. So how this happens, or what is this difference? What happens? What are the different accounting entries we get according to this scenario? We will see. Okay, I'll just give it as A. Okay, and I'll give it as B. So first let us discuss about this one, A1. Okay, A1. Charges including into inventory, charges paid to the vendor. Okay, for this I'll take an example of a transport charge. We have bought a particular good or set of goods from the vendor, for which the goods cost is 1000 or 10,000. Assume that it is 10,000. Okay, vendor have sent me the goods or used his own transport system or maybe another transport system, but he only paid it for the transport, but he will collect it from us once after delivering those goods to us. Okay, call it as transport charges. So once, let us keep that charges part aside. What will be the accounting entry when we do the invoice, the final accounting entry?
Finished goods inventory account will be debited and the vendor accounts payable account will be credited.
Inventory account will be debited.
Accounts payable account will be credited.
Okay, accounts payable account or vendor account. So just call it as vendor account. Vendor account will be credit. So this is for 10,000.
Invoice.
Okay, this is for 10,000. This is also for 10,000. Yeah, this is the invoice entry. Right, inventory will be debited when you buy goods and vendor account will be credited and you are liable to pay to the vendor later. This is the original entry when we do any invoice. But as I was saying you an example that you have a vendor have charged a transport charge, so which you are feeling to include onto the inventory itself, and you have to pay it to the vendor. Then how it will be calculated? So it's a charge of, let us assume it's charge of $100. Okay. So then what happens is inventory will be debited with the original product amount plus the charge amount. So charges included into inventory, right? So included into inventory 10,000 plus 100, and then vendor account also will be created for 10,000 plus 100, because you have to pay it to the vendor, right? Here, pay it to the vendor. So if you want to pay it to the vendor, you have to create the vendor as credit, or you have to create the vendor liability or the accounts payable liability. So that is why this entry will appear. The charges that you incurred will be added upon to your inventory. Now your cost price will differ. It's not 10,000, it's including this 100. The total cost price of the goods that you bought is 10,000 and 100, because you have decided to include it onto the inventory, or to capitalize your charges, and you will pay it to the vendor. This is the one scenario. So when you add such kind of charge code, so it will post entry like this. So the same inventory will be debited with 10,000 plus 100, total 10,100, and vendor will be created, making a liability that you have to pay to the vendor total amount on the goods plus charges, both of them. So when you, in this kind of scenario, the charge code, the financial entry or effect will be like this. It doesn't have any another account here. Accounted, any other account is not accounted here. So is it clear for all of you?
So how would we know that charges will be included in that? Does the
Not
invoice states that the charge includes?
we will create a charge code and we will give that charge
Inside.
code onto the invoice. So system
Okay.
automatically will calculate, and we'll also give the charge amount.
Okay.
Okay. So then our next concept is configuring the charge codes. So if you understand these entries accordingly, we'll configure the charge codes. Okay.
Yes.
But no main account will get affected, right?
Yeah. Here there won't be any third account. It is the
Okay.
same accounts we have, right? So the same accounts we have. 1 second, guys. Okay, guys. Yeah, this is the entry I have for this situation. So there is another situation where charges are included into inventory, but we are not paying the charges to the vendor. We have to pay it to any third party. Assume that transport is not given by the vendor. We have our own transport, or we have discussed with a third party transport provider. We have sent our vehicle to the vendor place to collect the goods, and from there we have brought the goods, or the third party transport person have delivered the goods to our warehouse. So we have to pay transport charges to this particular third party person, right? You were clear with the example, all of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is the situation where a for the first time I'm explaining in this like A1 and A2. Okay. So A inventory, but paid to third party, somebody else other than vendor, because vendor is not the person who have given that kind of service to have the charges or to take that. We have reached some third party person to do that work for us. So in that case, what is inventory account will be debited for same 10,000 plus 100 of charges. Coming to vendor account, we are liable to pay to the vendor only 10,000, right? Charges we are not paying to the vendor. So it will be 10,000. So what is the difference now?
That 100 will be the
That,
difference.
that 100 is the difference we have in the voucher. So we have 10,000 and 100 voucher here and 10,000 only here. I mean, one line here, debit and credit. There is a 100 deficit in the credit balance, so which we have to enter. So that we are liable to pay to a third party, right? So we can give that third party liability account here. Third party liability will be credited for 100 like this. So it's a kind of, and I'll take another example. I mean, to explain the same scenario. So 10,000 goods are being delivered by the vendor only. So he's not taking any charges and all. Okay, he's delivering them for free. But those goods are very valuable to us, and we are insuring those goods by the during the process of transport. So there can be chances of damage, right? There can be a collision of vehicles accident, or there can be rain in between and those goods can be damaged. So it can be God's act because of which goods can be damaged. So that is why what I'm doing is it may take 4 days for delivering the goods. So for this 4 days, I'm insuring the goods. Okay, as long as the goods are in transport, like for that 4 and 5 days, I am insuring the goods. So once they are received to me, then okay, the insurance will expire anyway. So but this for this 4 days, I am insuring the goods. So I will incur some insurance expenses. So what I'm feeling is I will add these insurance expenses onto my inventory. Well, for 10,000 plus 100 of insurance expenses, I am adding it to the inventory itself. But I am liable to pay that insurance amount to the or insurance premium or insurance cost to the insurance company, right? Not to the vendor. Vendor, I'll pay the 10,000 only, but that 100 insurance expenses which I'm added to the inventory, I am liable to pay to the insurance company. So here the insurance company will be the third party liability, or insurance company account, or insurance payable account. You can say payable means liability, right? So insurance payable account will be the third party liability account. So this is one example. So is it clear, the second scenario for all of you?
Yes.
Yes or no, guys? Sushila, Saideep, is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes, JP.
Yes.
Okay. So when for the vendor, invoice will be created for 10,000 only. Okay, we have to pay 10,000 only, but there is an insurance expense which we have to pay to the third party. So that will be accounted separately. That $100 will be added into another liability account, which you have to pay later or settle later. So that will be insurance payable again will be debited and bank account will be credited for paying or settling this liability account. Okay. Let's go for the third scenario then. B1. Charges are not included into the inventory but paid to the vendor. Okay. So let's see this scenario, what it happens here, where charges are not included into the inventory. So let me do something else here. I'll just take all of this down just to be on the same page. Yep. So here B1. B1 means charges are not included into the inventory but paid to the vendor. Okay. So in this case, when charges are not included into the inventory, 1 second guys, 1 second. Inventory will be debited for 10,000 because charges are not included onto the inventory. Then we have to pay it to the vendor, right? Vendor will be credited for 10,000 plus, sorry, plus 100. Inventory is debited only for 10,000 because charges are not included onto the inventory. But we have to pay the charges to the vendor, right? So vendor is created for 10,000 plus 100. So where is the difference?
100.
And 100 has to be debited or credited.
Debited.
Correct. There is a deficit amount of 100. So for this, we will use a expense account rather than adding it onto the inventory. Suppose like transport expenses debited for 100, like this. We don't include it in the inventory or capitalize the charges. We will account the charges separately. Inventory will be debited for 10,000. Transport expenses will be debited for 100. You know, all expenses are always debited. Vendor account will be credited for total 10,000 plus 100. So we have to pay to the vendor total 10,000 and 100. But transport charges are not included into the inventory. They are accounted separately. This is one scenario. So is this clear for all of you? This one. Charges not included in inventory and paid to vendor.
Bro,
Yep, somebody's asking.
can you please explain the second scenario again?
Okay, perfect. No problem. So this scenario is where charges are not included into inventory. See, we incur charges, but we don't capitalize the charges or not add them onto the inventory. We will account them separately. So for that, what I'll do is inventory will be debited for the original amount of the goods. Original amount of goods is 10,000. but that 100 charges that I incur, transport charges. Normally, if suppose if vendor is providing me any service, what I'll do, I'll credit the vendor account and debit the transport charges, right? Or any other expenses. Usually when we do vendor invoice, what is the entry, guys? Vendor expense invoice. So non-PO invoice. Vendor account will be credited in the invoice line. Going back, expense account like rent expense or any other expense or miscellaneous expense account will be debited. So this is what we do in the normal non-PO invoice process. So the same kind of entry will appear here. Transport expenses will be debited for 100. Vendor account will be additionally credited for this 100. And this 10,000 we have is for original goods. But this 100 we pay for transport expenses, which is provided by vendor only. So vendor will be totally need to be paid 10,000 and 100. And this will be accounted like this. Inventory will be debited for 10,000 and transport for 100. Clear enough?
Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful.
In the Go example, A2,
A2,
if you
yeah.
want to show insurance as separately,
That's what I'm explaining. Wait a second. Wait a second. That is the fourth scenario. Okay, charges not included into inventory and paid to a third party. This is the fourth scenario we have. Okay, let us see how we can handle this scenario. B2. Yeah. In this case, charges are not included into inventory, which means inventory is debited for 10,000 only. Okay. Vendor is credited for 10,000 only because we are not paying it to the vendor. To see the example once again, charges are not included into the inventory and not paid to the vendor. It is paid to a third party. So then inventory account and vendor account will be the same. It will appear as the same 10,000 and 10,000. But where it goes, so the charges amount where it goes. So for that we have another entry. So it will be included in the same one. Suppose let us assume that I am again paying insurance expenses, and insurance expenses I have to pay to a third party vendor. I'm not paying to this vendor, and I don't want to capitalize the insurance expense charges. I want to account it separately. So okay, the insurance is done on these goods only, but I don't want to add it to the inventory. I want to account it as an expense, like in this case. So for that, what I'll do is I will do this insurance expense will be debited since expense accounts are debited, right? So I'll just bring it down here. Insurance expense will be debited and third party liability or insurance payable liability account will be credited for 100. So this will be the two entries I'll get. Here I am accounting expenses separately other than adding into inventory. As well I am paying it to a third party vendor, not to the original vendor who delivered the goods or who sent me the goods. So I am paying it to a third party outside company or outside vendor. So it can be insurance company or it can be a transport company. It can be any other company who is providing you service or helping you in delivering these goods. So this is what I have. These are the four different scenarios we have, and these are the four scenarios that you will have anywhere. Other than this, I think you don't have anything on the charge codes. Mostly these are the things. Four different types. So is this clear? The fourth example for all of you? Sairam.
Yeah.
Srinivas.
Yes.
So my friend Srinivas was asking earlier. So is it clear?
Yeah. That's
Is it the same scenario that you are going to ask earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So these are the four scenarios in charges. So this is not standard actually. This is what I have defined to make it simplest for you to understand, easy for you to understand. I have categorized it into this ways, four ways. So these are the four different entries we'll get. So how these different entries will get, or how in between these accounts will automatically appear, or how these two accounts will appear. So for that, you have to configure the charge codes accordingly. So how do we configure the charge codes? We'll see now. So if these 4 scenarios are clear for all of you, then we'll go to that concept, next concept of configuring that charge codes. And later after configuring them, I will try to apply them onto the purchase orders and create few purchase orders. So shall we do that? Is it clear for all of you or any doubts yet again for anyone?
No.
Okay, then let's work on the charge codes configuration. Okay. To configure the charge codes, we have to go to accounts payable module here. Again, you go to setup, charges setup, charge codes, accounts payable, charges setup, charge code, accounts payable, charges setup, charge code. So charge codes will vary from accounts payable to accounts receivable, because in accounts receivable normally you are on the receiving side. Here you are on the paying side of the charges, right? So it is different from there and here. So in accounts payable, charges setup and charge code. I clicked on it. So I am going on to the, in the menu, I can see it's an empty form here. I can create a charge code. Here I'm clicking on new. Let's give a charge code here. Okay, I'll just give the charge code name as freight. Freight means transport charges, right? Freight. Give it the same here. Freight charges. Freight means transport. Okay. Then you can also give a item sales tax group to this charge code, which means you can also calculate tax upon the charge, because it is also a service, right? So there will be service tax applicable on this kind of service also. If at all you are accounting such charges, then there will be an additional service tax also in certain countries. In that case, you can give it here. If not, you can leave it over. Then here we have the amount of how much would be the maximum amount of charge. So if you keep a limit here, you have to give charges on in that limit only. If you don't keep any limit here, you can give any amount of charge in the purchase order or in the invoice level, your wish. So I'm not keeping any maximum amount. So coming to this part, this is the very, very important part of a charge code, this one. Okay. What is the debit account and what is the credit account for the charge code? So if I drop down, I can see 3 things: item, ledger account, customer or vendor. Here also I can see 3 things: item, ledger account, customer or vendor. I can see 3 things. Okay. Ledger, item, ledger account or customer or vendor. So let us try to understand why we have these 3 criteria. Suppose if I select item, what happens if I select item? I'll show you. And here see, on debit I am selecting item, on credit I am selecting customer or vendor. So assume that it is vendor in our scenario, because it is accounts payable, right? So it is vendor. Debiting the item, crediting the vendor. This is for scenario number 1, A1. So debiting the item means inventory only. So the charge code that you are applying or these freight charges that you are configuring will automatically be added onto inventory. So if you are debiting item here means it will be added to the inventory automatically. Along with the item's original price, the amount of charge that you add will be debited to the inventory only. So that is the first scenario. It is debited to the inventory. And credit, you have selected the vendor, right? So whichever vendor you are doing the PO, it will automatically go to that vendor here. So vendor will be created with 100. So that's what happens here. A1 scenario. Debiting will be done to the item, crediting will be done to the vendor. Debit will be done to item, credit will be done to the vendor. So the same. The inventory account will be debited, vendor account will be credited, right? So if your system have to add such kind of charges in this manner, then you have to configure the charge code in this way. And if you add any amount, if you include this charge code to a purchase order or to a invoice, and if you give some amount, it will account or it will post the entry in this way. according to this. We keeping in mind this scenario, we have just designed this charge code. So this is one way of designing the charge code. Clear for all of you?
Yes.
Okay. This posting and account we'll discuss now in a while. Okay, for other charge codes. So this is for foreign trade. I did not use this anytime, or neither I have seen someone using it. So if they have foreign trade, and I think this is specially for US only, intrastat invoice value and intrastat statistical value. Ignore this. Not many of them will use it in normally in business or in interview also. They won't stress much, but they will ask you these questions related to charge codes. Okay. Remember these key points, these two. So this is for scenario 1. Next, let us discuss about scenario 2, where I have some, I would say like insurance. Okay, insurance expenses. So insure inventory. So insurance added upon to the inventory. I just give a normal code like this. Insure inventory. Insurance expenses that have been added to the inventory. Okay, here this is the second scenario. Inventory is added for 100. Insurance expense is directly added to the inventory. Vendor is created for 10,000, but third party company is created for 100. So in this scenario, how we have to configure this tax code, sorry, charge code, I'll show you. So on, it is adding on to the inventory, right? Debit value will be adding on to the inventory. So that's what we have seen here. Inventory will be debited for the charge amount. So we will select item only here again, because whatever the item is there in the PO, onto that particular inventory only, these charges will be included. But credit, we can't select the vendor because we are not crediting the vendor or not paying the vendor. See here, we are paying to a third party, not to the vendor in this A2 scenario. So in that case, what we will do is we don't select the vendor here. We will select this ledger account. See here, ledger account. So in ledger account, I'll select one account. Insurance payable account is there, right? Well, that's what we were thinking earlier. We don't have that account. Let's create that account. New. Sorry, I click new here. Yeah, here, new. 2 series account, right? Expense. Okay, 20009. Not expense, liability. Insurance.
JP 5 series.
Liability is 2 series, right? I'm creating liability account. Insurance payable is a liability, not expense. Okay. See, insurance expense is an expense account. Insurance payable is a liability account. Okay, accounts payable is a liability account. Whatever we are payable is a liability account. Right? So I created this insurance payable account. I'll show you. So here we have to give that account, insurance payable account. Let me click on show all. I'll get this insurance payable account. Come on. Yep. Credit posting must be filled in. Yeah, I'll just give this posting here as something. Insurance we have in I'm just clicking on I and it shows me if I have any. Is to let's see it as got as order of, just give it as order of. It doesn't matter actually what you give here, or you can give anything else like not other than order fee. You can give some liability account if you have any. What kind of liability we have in posting type? Yeah, some purchase fee, purchase postage. Yeah, you can give this purchase fee. Let's give it in that way. Okay.
JP can't hear you.
So this is one way. Normally, if I for the 100 months payable, I have insurance payable. I also hello. Sorry,
SGP, I can't hear you.
JP voice is breaking.
okay, is it clear enough?
Now
Is
it
this
is
enough?
okay.
Yes, now it is
Yeah, yeah.
clear.
Okay.
Can you
Okay,
again tell me
wonderful.
about posting?
Yes. I'm saying this credit posting. Usually for this freight charges earlier we have selected vendor, right? If I select it as vendor, it will automatically credit to the vendor account, which means it will credit to the accounts payable account automatically. Instead of accounts payable, I have changed it from vendor to ledger account and I gave an insurance payable account here. So both accounts payable is also a liability account. Insurance payable is also a liability account. Either way, it will be added to the liability account or credited to the liability account only. But the accounting slightly differ. If you select vendor account, you have to pay it to that particular vendor for whom you are doing the PO for. Here, if I select third party account means or any insurance payable account means I'll pay it to some third party person. So for whom I have created this liability account as the amount into an insurance payable account. So later I will settle that insurance payable account by debiting the insurance payable account and creating the cash account by paying the cash to the insurance company. Okay, that will be second.
I really can't hear you.
JP, your voice is breaking.
But initially the select.
JP,
Okay, give me a
your
second. I'll
voice is
just.
not.
Okay. I'll give me a second. Just mute yourself. I'll just add it another. It's a lot of disturbance from your side. So is it clear enough? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. How far I was audible?
Yes, JP.
How far I was audible? I mean, which until which topic I was audible?
Until giving the account.
Okay. So I was saying that instead of giving the vendor account, if you give the ledger account, then also it will credit to the liability account only. Earlier, if I give the vendor account, it will credit to the accounts payable account. But here it will account it separately or the charges will be credited to another third party liability account or the insurance payable account in this example. Okay, this will be the entry. So the debit will be done to inventory only, but credit will be done to vendor for 10,000 original amount. But we are talking about the charge code, right? So charge code credit will be done to this insurance payable account, which we have given here. So this is one way insurance upon the inventory or insurance charges adding onto the inventory. Clear for all of you? Any confusion in this?
What is the posting purchase fee?
This one. This is just a posting type. So what all the transactions that we do in system normally have a posting type. So in item model, in item group, when you are giving accounts, you are giving accounts for posting types separately, right? In the same
Yes.
way, just the nature of the account. That's all. What kind of a transaction it is or what kind of an account it is, we can give it here posting. That's all. So for normally for freight expense, you can give freight and all here order freight. I'll show you in the next example. Okay, in the same way, I don't have a specific insurance expense kind of thing, so I give a purchase fee or additional expense, right? While we are by purchasing it, this is an additional fees, right? So I just gave that posting here. That's all. Okay. So now let us discuss about the third example, where it should not be added onto the inventory, but paid to the vendor only. So the expense will be accounted separately, not added onto inventory, but paid to the vendor only. So let us see that one. So for that, I'll just create a new code. So I'll just give this code as transport. Okay. Transport charges. Then my debit account is not inventory account because I'm not adding it onto the inventory. See here B1, it's inventory is only for the original amount, but for debiting I have to select another account like transport charges account or transport expenses account. So for that what I'll do is I don't select item but I'll select ledger account here and I will give a account here. So what account I have to give? I have to give a transport charges account or transport expenses. So debiting means it's expense account we have to give. If it is crediting means we have to give a liability account. Remember that. So I'll just create a 5 series account for transport. Let us see 5000015. Let's see this one. Transport charges or transport expenses. Anything you can give. I'll just give it as transport charges and it is a expense account. Saved it. I will copy the same account. Go back. Give that account here. Posting type, yeah, I can give it as order freight. I think I just click on order. It took me order freight, or I can give anything else other than this. I mean, you can use order freight, okay, kind of. Freight and transport are both same, right? But don't get confused. Actually, I gave two different names just for you to understand differently. And credit account, yeah. Debit, it is accounting to a separate account, to a transport expense account, not adding to the inventory. But credit, we want it onto the same vendor right here. See this example, B1. To the same vendor we are crediting it, or we have to pay the transport charges or any charges we using this charge code, we have to pay to the same vendor. So that is why I'll select the vendor here. So here what happens is vendor will be credited and this expense account will be debited for the charge code separately. So just like in this example, transport expenses is getting debited for 100, vendor will be created for 100. So this is the scenario. Clear for all of you? This charge
Yes.
code. Okay. If it is clear, then I'll go for the fourth example where we have to account both of them separately, not adding on to inventory or not adding to the vendor. New. So I'll give the same insurance expense actually here, but I'll give it as TP, third party. Okay. So that was insurance inventory, but this is insurance third party. Okay. I'm just giving it like this. Insurance third party. So here I should not get item or I should not get vendor. I should get both separate accounts. For ledger account, I'll give this one insurance expense account, which is a debit account, or an expense account will be debited. So posting type, I can give anything. I can give order fees or order fee. Yeah, I'll select this order fee, something like that. Not compulsory that you have to select a something perfectly, but you can select anything which is relevant, but you have to select one for sure. And here for crediting, I'll give this insurance payable account. Sorry, not expense account. Insurance payable account, which is a liability account. 2,09,000 insurance payable account. And for this also I can give some same like purchase fees we have, right? Purchase freight purchase fee. Yeah, give that. So here what happens is when you apply this kind of charge code, debit will be done to insurance expense account, credit will be done to insurance payable account. So you have to pay that, or since it is recorded as a liability, you might have to pay it later anytime according to your agreement between the insurance vendor and you, or the insurance company and you. Okay, that is this fourth example. Neither the inventory is being debited nor the vendor is being credited. It is accounted separately into insurance expense debit and third party insurance payable account credit. So that is the scenario we have here. So these are the four types of codes we have. So any code you create, it will be in one of these scenarios. That's all. So these are the very 4 different things we have. Clear for all of you? All the 4 codes. Were they relatable to the transactions I have explained you earlier? Any confusion? Let me know if you have any confusion. This understanding is key, important. So that's why I've stressed it so long or shouting from then. If it is clear, let us go and apply these charge codes on invoice and purchase orders and see how they are being accounted. Okay, I'll also add one more charge code just for sake. I'll just give it as packing charges. Okay. Packing charges. So packing charges will usually be added into inventory only. So I'll just give it as packing charges. Debit to item, credit to vendor. Save it. So just adding on to the inventory. Packing will be done by vendor only, right? So I will pay it to the vendor itself directly. So this is one. This is the A1 scenario. I'm sorry, don't explain in interview like this. Okay, A1, A2, and B1, B2. It's just for our understanding sake. I get it. But you explain it in this scenario. Charges that are included onto the inventory, not included onto the inventory. Within that, we have 2 separate categories. Charges that we have to liable to pay to the vendor or liable to pay to a third party. So you can explain these situations or entries, your wish. So these are the 4. So according to the nature of the charge and the way that they want to account it, or according to their accounting rules, they will construct their charge codes in any manner. In these 4 scenarios, they can design their charge codes in any way or configure the charge codes in any way. Okay, so if you are asked to configure, then you have to ask the details. So for this particular charge code, what should be the debit and credit? Do you want to add it onto the inventory? Do you want to pay to the vendor, or is there any separate account? You have to ask and understand all those things while you are doing the requirement gathering. For the configuration of charge codes, you have to understand what kind of charges they regularly have in business and how they are maintaining them in their previous legacy system. Legacy system means the previous tool that they are using, may it be Tally or SAP or any other ERP which they were using, or the process that they are following to account these kind of charges. So understanding that, and accordingly you can configure the charge codes here. Clear, guys? If it is clear, yeah, we can work on applying these charge codes on purchase order. So let's see, we have enough time, I think, to see at least quite few scenarios. So just go to accounts payable, all purchase orders. It's taking some time since this is the first PO for today. It does take some time. Bear with it for the first PO later. I'm sorry guys, I have one more checkup actually to do. Yesterday I have deleted the advanced rules, but I'm not sure if if I had activated this account structure. Without activating account structure, we can't do any transaction, right? So I'll just check it once again. General ledger structures, configure account structures. MRF, one is active, other one is in draft status. So bad. So let me check the advanced rules. Were they deleted or not? Oh, all of them are deleted except this one. I'll just remove this rule here and also remove this criteria here. Okay, then it is of no use. Then let it be like this. I'll go back, then I'll try to activate this account structure. If I activate this, it takes a while. By that time we will create this PO. Okay, by the time it gets activated, it's in activating mode now. It takes a while, like 1 or 2 minutes. Let's see, by the time, let us create this PO. But before posting the transaction, we should have that activated, active. So to create PO, I'm going to vendor. I'll select this vendor Sahara. Okay, I'll give the site and warehouse. Yeah, here 11, or I'll just give site another warehouse like 22. I have, right? Yeah, I have it. I'll select it. Okay, then click on OK. Meanwhile, I'll just keep refreshing it here. Still activating. So I can select the item here. I'll select the item as cycle. So I'll select 5 cycles to buy 5 into 1000, 5000. Okay, I'll also select one more product here. Click on add line. Dead slow. Yeah, it's activating it. So I'll select this iPhone here, iPhone 12 mini. Then I'll just give the product variants. I'll give the color directly. Color, yeah. So black and 64 GB. I'll just give it, and I'll give 10 quantity. So for each for 10,000. 1 second, guys. Each for 10,000. Let me connect my plug in my charger. 1 second. Yeah. So 10,000 total of 1 lakh, and cycles are 5,000. Let's see. This is activate. Oh, it is still activating. That's okay. So by the time it gets activated, I'll tell you a concept where we can include the charges. Okay, there are two kind of situations. Okay, one where you can include charges on purchase order itself. Vendor will give a quotation for you, right? So in that quotation only he'll give a breakup. So if at all I want to sell these goods to you, I will also include these kind of charges and all. He will show you before you place the order. So accordingly you will place the order. If you want to place the order, you will create a purchase order and place the order. If you don't want, you don't create a purchase order at all. Okay, that's one concept where vendor in the earlier stage only he'll tell you the charges that he gonna probably charge you on this delivery of on these goods. Okay, if he says so, you can add those charges on the purchase order itself. Okay, sometimes what happens is vendors does not really tell these details to you, or will not share, or will not initially help you with the charge details. So later when they send invoice, in that invoice they will charge the amount. So for transport this much, for packing this much, they will charge. In that situation, what will you do? You did not include those charge codes on the purchase order. You confirmed it, received the goods also. Your next step is doing invoice only. So in that situation, what you can do is you can add charges on invoice. Okay, on the invoice also you can add charges. Sometimes what vendor will do is he'll say that he will charge only 50 rupees or $50 for delivery of goods as a packing charge. But what happens is while send the invoice, he'll charge $60. In that case, on the invoice, we can modify that 50 to 60. Okay, that chance is also there. While doing invoice, we can modify that 50 to 60 in the invoice. If there are any such modified charges, or if there is any decrease also, we can decrease it. the charge amount. So that situations are there. You can either add charges on the PO, or you can either add charges on the invoice, or you can either modify the charges that are added on the PO. On the invoice, you can modify them. Okay, remember these key points. And again, on PO, you can add charges in two places. One is at header level, another one is at line level. For each line, for each product, you can add a charge code, or you can add multiple charge codes. Or at header level, if you add charge means it will be applicable to all the products. So what kind of charges we apply on the line level? What kind of charges we usually apply on the header level? So usually the packing charges will be applied on the line level, because packing will be different from product to product, right? So suppose that I want packing for iPhones. So I can add packing charges for this particular product only. For cycles, I don't need any packing. So I don't want any packing charges applied on the cycle. So I will apply packing charges only on iPhone. But vendor will deliver both the goods in same truck for me. Cycles as well as iPhones, he will send all of them in a same truck. For that, we will incur transport charges. So the transport charges are for both the items, right? Not for any individual item. So it is for both the items. So we can add the transport charges on the header level, because if he is delivering the goods, all the goods at a time in a single transport, so it is a combined charge for all the goods being delivered. So that we can add at the header level. But if it is a specific charge specific to one particular item, we can add it on the line level for this particular item. We can select that line and we can add that charge. Okay, remember this point as well. Charges can be added at the header level or the line level. Not only in the purchase order, on the invoice also you have the same on the header level or in the line level, or both in the header level and line level. Anywhere you can add. Okay, now I will show you how you can add it in the line level as well as in the header level. Before that, let us see if it is activated. Yes, it is active. So we can proceed now. So how to add a charge code at the line level? Suppose we have this charge code, right? Packing charges, which has to be debited to the inventory and credited to the vendor directly. So this packing charges I want to add for this iPhone. Where is this? Yeah, I'm sorry. This iPhone, which is with the second line. For cycles, I don't have any packing charges. So for that, I'll just click on here, this one. Okay, I'll click on financials. I think it should be under financials. Yes. So line, click on line, and above line I see financials. Here I can see the option maintain charges. You can see, right, maintain charges. Click on maintain charges. So here it asks me what charge code you want to include, or you want to give for this particular line, separate line, single line. So you can select one of the charge codes. We have 5, right? You can select, I will select this packing charges. Okay. Then it asks me fixed or percent or according to the pieces or intercompany percentage, external or proportional. These are all typical or for something else. Okay. Concentrate on these three: fixed or pieces or percentage. Fixed means if I say 100 charge, so $100 charge for packing of those 10 items. It's a fixed charge of $100 for packing those 10 iPhones. If I select pieces means for each piece how much I am incurring, I can give. Suppose I say 10 for each one for $10 for each piece. So I have 10 pieces, right? iPhones. So 10 into 10, I will have 100. Like that. So if I select percentage means again I have to select the percentage amount. So how much percent on the line amount? Suppose if I say 10% on the line amount, so total is 10,000, right? I mean, so total line amount is 1 lakh. 10,000 into 10 items. On 1 lakh, 10% means 10,000 packing charges. So I can say 1%. 10,000 is way more, right? So 1% packing charges means that 1 lakh plus this 1,000 will be the packing charges. 1,000 will be the packing charges. So that is calculated upon the base amount of the line. Percentage. So you can select either fixed or pieces or percentage. I'll select fixed. Fixed, I'll give $100 charges fixed. Okay, not according to the piece. I am giving it according to the, total packing charges at a time, 100. And I can see calculated is 100. If there is any tax applicable on these charges also, you can add the tax group and item sales tax groups upon which taxes will be added. So I can save it. So this is how I can add a charge code. If I want to remove it, I can select and remove it, or change the amount, I can change it. If I want to add one more charge code, I can also do it. Like if I want to add insurance charge code for this insurance, which is added onto the inventory, you can see here insurance which is added onto the inventory but paid to a third party, right? So yeah, I'll select this one, insurance which is added onto inventory. I can give insurance amount also like $2,000 insurance. I can add two charge codes. Both of them are applicable to a single product only. That is for the second line. Okay, and it is added to the inventory of that product only. You can maintain different inventory accounts for two items. Many times you can do that. You can give two different item groups where you can give two different inventory accounts rather than a single inventory account. Different types of inventory accounts for iPhones, different inventory account for cycles. On that case, this will be added to the iPhone inventory account. This amount of 2,100. Okay, I'll just remove this insurance charges from here. I'll only give packing charges for now. So this is how I can add a charge code on the line level. If I go back, I can see that the line, and again I can see the purchase order totals again. So I think here, not here, here only in the financials I can see totals. I can't see here. Yeah, that's okay. Let me see the maintain charges once again, where I can see this charge code of $100, which is added by us. So is it clear for all of you how to add a charge code in the line level? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, JP.
Okay, perfect. So then I'll add a charge code in the header level. So what kind of charges we will have on the header, like transport charges we will have on the header. I will add this transport charges code, which is not added onto the inventory, which is accounted separately into an expense account, but we will anyway pay to the vendor only. Okay, let's see that account, how we can give that charge code actually. So here I can give charge code in the header level under purchase order, on not on purchase order, under purchase. Yeah, here we have maintain charges once again. So this is in the header level. If I give any charge here, it is applicable to both the lines. Remember that. Click on maintain charges here. Under purchase, you have maintain charges. Here I can give a charge code again. So I'll give a transport charge here, fixed amount of, I'll say $1,000 of charge for transport $1,000. US dollars only. I'm not giving any foreign currency. I'll just save it. Here also I can add multiple charges, and I have this option of distribute amounts. So what happens, this is, suppose if I click here distribute amounts, it doesn't really affect here because I'm posting it to transport expense account, right? So that's why I don't find anything with this distribute amounts. Normally, if there is any charge that has to be added to the inventory, then we can use this account distribute amounts. In this case, you can distribute it to transport charges account only. So see, transport charges and operations it is taking. This is taken from the vendor account actually. And if you want to split this amount, you can split it. 100% is going to transport charges account only. If you want to split it, means if you want to send that 50% of charges to another department, suppose split it. So 50% of charges should be sent to another department. Like I'll select another department here, sales and marketing department. So I'll say 50 here. I'll first change it to 50, then I'll give 50 here. So 500 of the 1,000 will be going to this account plus this combination, and here this account plus this combination. You can also change the account if you want to. Okay, you can also change the transport expense and give a different account. Normally this kind of situation or this kind of scenario is not for this. When we use this charge code. So if you use a charge code which is adding on to the inventory rather than into an expense account, here it is adding into the expense account, right? Yes, I'll show you here it is adding into expense account. But if it is a charge code which is adding on to the inventory, and if we have multiple items on the purchase order, suppose, so they might have different inventory accounts as I was saying you. In here in our example, we have a single inventory account only. But for iPhones, there can be iPhone inventory account. For cycles, there can be cycle inventory account. So that charges will be sent to that inventory account, right? In case if you're using a different charge code other than which is debiting to charges account or expense account, if we are using any account like this, packing charges, suppose I'll show you the same example. Okay, I'll just go back, remove the charge code here, give another charge code. Suppose I'll give another charge code which is like a like this freight. Okay, this is adding on to the inventory. The freight charge here you can see it is adding on to inventory and paying to the vendor only. So I'll just give you an overview of this one. 1000. Okay, I'll save it, and here I have the option of distribute amounts. For charges of this type, allocate the charges to the lines, and then distributions will be determined automatically. That's what I was saying, right? Allocate it to line. So actually, yeah, we don't have option here for that. For this allocation, we have a option here, allocate charges. So I'll tell you this one. I'm sorry for that. If I am using this kind of charge code freight, the charges will be added to the inventory, right? So it is added to a first line as well as second line. So how much it will be added to first line inventory and how much it will be added to second line inventory. If you don't select anything, it will add 50-50 amount for the first line, for the second line, or according to the percentage of net amount, I think it will add. If not, if you want to give certain amount of this transport charges, 1000 transport charges, right? Out of 1000, 200 should be added to this inventory for freight charges, 200 should be added to this product, and 800 should be added to this product. If you want to say like that, you can give it here. Under purchase, you have allocate charges option. This one here it asks me. So earlier it is using as the net amount. So here 1 lakh, here 5000, right? So according to that ratio, it will divide the header level charge. So onto the inventory, according to that ratio, it will divide and apportion. But here I can give how to allocate the charges according to the net amount, according to the quantity, or according to the per line. I'll say according to the line. So all lines are positive lines and negative lines I have. If I am having negative lines, then it will show it's for credit notes actually. But I'll select all lines. So per line I want to allocate the charges. So here I can select allocate. So it just allocates the charges. I'm not sure how much it is allocating again. Let me see, allocate charges per line to all lines. Okay. Then allocate all or allocate only onto the stock to goods. Okay. I think let me select it according to per line, all lines. Okay. Allocate. There are no charge to allocate. What it is saying, no charges to allocate. We have this charge code, right? Okay. So actually the earlier charge code we gave, right, 1000 rupees charge code, it got allocated automatically. So let's see again, that charge code is removed from here, from the maintain charge codes. It's not there anymore here. The 1000 amount is directly sent on to the lines. Suppose if I see this line number 5 and go to financials, again maintain charges. For this we did not add any charge, right? But this freight amount is added to the line itself directly, 500 amount. Once upon clicking that allocate charges, the header level charge is apportioned or allocated to the line level for 500. And here for this line, again I can see here I have already given one charge code for packing, right? So here I can see two charge codes now. For packing I can see 100 and the freight amount which we added on the header. Since we have allocated it, that 500 is being brought into this line automatically. So it allocated both the charges from the header level to the line level. If you are using that allocate all method. So I'll just delete this here. Again, I'll give it in the header level itself. We'll see more scenarios in the next charge codes for this. Okay. I'll just remove the charge code here for the line level. Again, I'll give it in the header level. Purchase, maintain charges. Select the charge code here as transport. I'll select transport. Okay. Value is $1,000. Save and click back and save. So now let us see the total of the purchase order, how much it is. So here it should be 1000, sorry, 1 lakh plus 5,000. 1 lakh 5,000 is the net product amount. Again, for this line, I have 100 charges. And on the total purchase order, again, I have 1000 charges. So it should be 1000, sorry, 1 lakh 6,100. The net total amount should be. So for that, we can see here, not here in the purchase order and view totals here. Click on purchase order, click on view totals. I can see 1 lakh 5,000 is the original amount. 1 lakh is the product amount, iPhone amount, and 5,000 is the cycles amount. And 1,100 is the charge. 1,000 at the header level, 100 at the line level for the iPhones. Total amount is 1 lakh 6,100. Clear? Is this one is clear for all of you? And adding charges on the header level is also clear. Say yes or no, guys. Sushila, is it clear? Saideep, is it clear?
Clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what I'll do is I'll just confirm the PO and do the next proceedings, and I'll show you the accounting part later. So it is confirmed, as I can see it is confirmed. Then the next thing is I have to receive the goods. So I'm receiving the goods. Post the product receipt. Give a number. Just give it as CRN 11. Click on OK. Assuming that both the lines are selected, it will definitely select both the lines. OK. Just to make it quick, I clicked on OK quickly. So it is posted. So I can see the product receipt journal here under journals under receive. So this is the product receipt journal, and I can click on voucher. See, I can see accrued purchases is credited for 1,05,000 only. Goods received is debited for 1,05,000 only. So here, remember the key point. In product receipt, it will not account the charges or taxes or anything. Only it will account the base amount of the products. What is there on the base amount of the product? That amount only it will account. Accrued purchases for 1,05,000. Finished goods inventory for 1,05,000. Okay, clear for everyone? Or any confusion? Okay. So that I can go back and do the invoice for the goods that I have received. So I'm clicking on generate invoice. Takes a while. Right, invoice is created. I can give it an invoice number. I'll just give it as invoice 12 or SH invoice 12. Sahara invoice 12. Given invoice date as of tomorrow, day after tomorrow, Friday. I can see the lines, cycle and iPhone. Clear? So for this iPhone, we have added charges, right? Packing charges of 100 that you can check here. Again, you have financials here, right? Click on financials. Or if you miss to add any charge code, you can add it here. Same, you have the same option, maintain charges. If you click on here, I should see that packing charges of 100 being brought up from purchase order. Suppose if the vendor charged more, $120 rather than 100, then I can change it to 120. Here, I can edit it. Or if we added one more charge onto the purchase on the same product, I can add that charge here. And I'm not adding anything. If at all you want to see it on the header level, yeah, we have the one more option again here. I think here in the financials, I can see charges again here, maintain charges. Click on maintain charges. At the header level, we should have $1,000 charge, right? So I can see transport charges of $1,000 here. If you want to edit it, you can edit it, or you add one more charge, you can add one more charge here. Additional. It's your wish. Okay, enough. Since everything is clear, I can also see the totals of the invoice. If I want to see totals, I think I can see it here in the here totals option I have here itself, totals. So the total of invoice is 1,500 base amount plus 1,05,000 base amount plus 1,100 charges, total of 1,06,100. Okay, now I will post it here. So posting means if I post it, my packing charges should be added to the inventory and created to the vendor only. But my transport charges should be debited to a expense account rather than debiting to the inventory and created to the vendor only. So vendor will be created for total 1,06,100 because for all the goods amount as well as both the charges we have to pay to the vendor only. So he should be created for total amount. Coming to my transport charges of 1,000, it has to be debited to the expense account rather than adding on to the inventory account. So my packing charges of 100 on the iPhone will be added to the inventory account automatically since I gave it as item here. So let us see how it shows. I will post this invoice. Before that, I have to click on update my status. Ensure that it is passed. Here it is passed and I can post it. So now my entry should be, so any guess what should be the entry, anyone? So product receipt entry will get reversed. Okay, so that keep it aside. Other than that, what will be the entry? Quickly, guys, we have to wind it up. So vendor account or the accounts payable account will be credited, right? So how much amount for this?
Total 1,06,100.
1,06,100, right? So then what else we have? Inventory invoiced account. So how much inventory invoiced account will be debited for?
1,05,000.
Okay, Saidip is saying 1,05,000. Anybody have any other opinion? Come on, guys.
No.
So do you think this is right? Okay, then what is the difference amount which has to be debited? What is the difference amount? No.
Packing
How
charges
much difference amount is there? How much
1,100.
difference amount is there? 1,100, not 1,100. 1,100, correct. Sorry, it's 1,100 or 1,100. Yeah. So which account will be debited for that 1,100? Come on.
Expense account.
Which expense account? Which expense account will be debited for that 11,000?
I think the total amount will include in the item only.
Total amount will be included in the item only, which means the inventory should be 1,06,100
Yes.
according to Sushila. Okay. Other than that, any other one have any other opinion? Srinivas, do you have any opinion? Or Naveen or Santosh, any other opinion? So Sushila says that it should be for 1,06,100. Okay, I'll show you the charge codes once again for all of you. Now again, if you have any other change in opinion, just let me know. Okay, I have added packing charges, right? Packing charges of 100. So this is the packing charge structure. This is the packing charge structure. Okay, packing charge of 100. And I have added transport charge of 1000. So this is the transport charge structure. Now tell me what will be debited with how much and what will be credited with how much. So packing charge structure is like this. Which means according to the A1 example.
Can you show the transport account?
Yes, here.
Transport?
Here, transport charges here. Quick guys.
1,000 for transport charges account.
Okay, Sairam is saying that 1000 will be debited for transport charges.
So in charge code, whatever we have given in the account, right? Only those accounts will get debited, and I mean those accounts will reflect.
Okay. So in transport charges will be debited for 1000. That's what Sairam is saying. So Srinivas is saying that those accounts will get affected. What about packing charges of 100 then, which we have done
JP
for
inventory
Inventory
invoice is
On the inventory.
So you mean to say like it will be added onto the inventory.
See,
yeah
while
1,05,100.
JP can't hear you.
It is like 1,05,000.
Voice is getting paused.
Can you hear me now properly?
Yeah.
Hello?
Now it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Now it's fine.
No problem. Okay. So is this what the final entry or do you have any other opinion on this? Anyone?
100 rupees we have to show. Right?
Inventory invoiced for 1,05,100.
So that's what I gave it here, right? 1,05,000 plus 100.
Now I can see. Yes.
Okay. Srinivas, any other opinion?
That's all the way. As far as I think, like whenever we are creating the charge code, right, there we will do the main accounts. Only
Correct.
those accounts will get affected. Rest of them it will get added to the respective inventory or whatever.
Correct. For packing
For
charges,
packing,
I
we
gave
haven't
it
got
as item here. You can see. So which has to be added to the item or inventory. So it is adding to the inventory. For transport charges, I gave it to another third party account like transport charges account or just an expense account, another account here. So that is why it is being added to transport charges are debited to transport charges are not being added to the inventory. But in both the cases, I gave the credit account as vendor only for packing charges as well as for transport charges. So vendor is being added with total charge amount here. Are getting live. We are liable to pay to the vendor the total charge amount plus the amount on the product. So this is how I was expecting the entry should be. I mean, keeping this aside, I mean the product receipt reversal entry aside, this is what should be the entry according to me. Let us see if it is posted in the same manner or not. Let me go to the invoice where it is posted. It says invoice is posted. How I can see the invoice that is posted on this PO? See it is showing as invoiced.
Go to invoice,
Okay.
journals invoice.
Under journals, I can see invoice here. So click on invoice. I can see the invoice, SH invoice 12. I can see the voucher here. You can see the voucher. Click on this voucher. So what is it? This one and this one and this one are dummy accounts. I mean, this is a reversal entry and this is the dummy account. So these are the three main things we have. Accounts payable or the vendor will be credited for 1,06,100. Transport charges is debited for 100. Sorry, 1000. Finished goods inventory where cost of goods material invoiced or finished goods inventory invoiced account is debited for 1,05,100. So inventory invoiced 1,05,100. I can say it in this way. Accounts payable account is created with 1,06,100. Transport charges is debited for 1000. Is it clear? The entry here for all of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
For all of you. So this one you can see the same amount because in during the product receipt it doesn't count the charges. I told you, right? So it is being reversed in the same amount here. 1,05,000 sorry and 1,05,000. That reversal entry you can see here. Okay, clear, right, for all of you?
Yes.
Okay, if it is clear then it's very good. Tomorrow we'll see application of other charge codes as well as we'll see automatic charge codes process, how we can do that for header level and line level. Okay, that would be all for today. If you have any doubts you can stay back and ask. If not, you can drop off, guys. I'm just trying to download this to make a sheet and I'll send it to you in this chat. If it gets downloaded, well and good. Let me get this. Yeah. Well, it seems like it's downloaded. Wonderful. Delete this account. Okay. This line. I'll just copy and insert copied cells here. Come on. So else I think I can't move it up there. Okay, let's see. So this line here and 1,05,000 and this line here is for product receipt reversal. The remaining three are the original invoice lines, out of which charges are added to or transport charges are being debited here. This is what we have. I'll just copy this line and paste it. Copy this line and paste it here. Just select these two lines and come on, should see this delete option here and delete, right? So this is how you can see this is the reversal of product receipt entries. Then these three are the original invoice entries. Okay, I'll just take a snip of it. Add it here as well as I'll come on, not PO. I'll send it here. Just for your sake of understanding. Tomorrow we'll add more charge codes and do more purchase order transactions and see how it gets affected. Okay. We'll have a class tomorrow, definitely. Yeah, once completing it, we can go to other topic. So it would hardly take 3-4 classes for accounts payable to be completed, I guess so. Mostly we have prepayments and credit notes to discuss on, and inquiries and reports. This is important concept too. And there is one more very important concept: matching policies or invoice validations. We'll also discuss that. Okay, so that's all, guys. I mean, we can drop off. It's already late today. Stop recording until 1 or